Hello, everybody. How are you? I believe all of you are healthy and happy with your families. And today I am going to take up a very, very difficult chapter. It is being considered difficult because of the vocabulary, I think. But at the heart of it is something that brings out the most important question in our life, and that is family. So the chapter is number 2 in Hornbill. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So it is quite adventurous indeed. But if you look at the title, that is when you understand that it is about that fearlessness and the togetherness. So let's get started. And this is just an introduction to the story so that you can understand it in a better manner later on. Here we go. Well, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. So, as I said, that it is about adventure, and yes, it is about the sea journey, and it is also about having courage to fight every hurdle that comes in between. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together, written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. And these are the authors, Gordon Cook and Alan East, in front of you. And Gordon Cook, uh, let's learn about him. A Cambridge bookseller who once took his family on a 17-year sailing trip is now preparing to set sails across the globe again at the age of 76. That happens to be news that appeared in recent times. So through this news article, you can learn that what actually I'm trying to say here. Firstly, let's have a look. In 1976, Gordon Cook, who runs the Internet Bookshop in Cambridge, and his wife Mary and children Sue and John voyaged along the route taken by his namesake Captain James Cook 200 years earlier. The family miraculously escaped death when their schooner Wavewalker was capsized, that is, sunk, and badly damaged by monstrous waves in the Indian Ocean. So, why is this particular news article important? Because through this you come to know that the chapter is an autobiographical account coming straight away from the life of Gordon Cook. And we are going to encounter these characters only: the narrator, Gordon Cook, his wife, Mary, and the children, Suzanne and Jonathan, that is, Sue and John. So it is the real journey that was taken up by him in 1976, and we are going to learn about this through this chapter. Now, coming to the synopsis. This chapter deals with a first person account of an adventurous ordeal that one family experiences. The author gives a brief about the voyage taken by his family to duplicate round the world voyage which was made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So why they took the journey, the entire family, they wanted to duplicate the one taken up 200 years ago by Captain James Cook. The author and his family had always dreamt of sailing in the British waters. In this chapter, you will study about the adventure and the struggle of this family during the voyage. The never accepting defeat attitude by all the family members is beautiful to learn, and that is why the title is very important. No matter what we come through in this entire chapter, the most important thing is that you have to be brave enough to fight each and every obstacle that comes in front of you. As far as a prologue, I'll give it to you that in 1968, 26 August, England, Captain James Cook traveled to Tahiti, commissioned by the Royal Society, and then happened the adventure trip in 1960. This is about Captain James Cook, who traveled around the world 200 years ago. So he is that person. In 1960, the narrator and wife decide to imitate Cook's journey. They start preparations, a 3-year journey, 105,000 kilometer journey. So, what happened earlier, 200 years ago? The journey was taken up by Captain James Cook, and in 1960s, the narrator and his family, they decided to duplicate this same journey and go for a round the world voyage. And this is Captain James Cook, the very prominent sailor, and he was the one who he took up the journey of the entire world in the sea. And this is the family, Captain Gordon Cook and his family. He himself, the narrator, his wife Mary, son Jonathan, and daughter Suzanne, they went through this entire part starting from England, and they wanted to duplicate the journey. Now, coming to the character list, as far as the author is concerned, Captain Gordon Cook, a 37-year-old businessman who has dreamt to sail and has spent many years honing his sailing skills to finally achieve his dream of sailing in the British waters. Honing is practicing. Then we have Mary, author's wife, a woman with courage. She supports her husband's dream of sailing and is ever ready to face any adventures. Then we have Jonathan, son of the author, 6-year-old, a little boy with great wisdom and understands the importance of family and wishes to be together even if they all die. And I think you can get the hint that the title is related to this character, Jonathan. Suzanne, 7-year-old girl with patience and perseverance. She dares to endure pain and chooses to remain silent not to bother her father. She understands the severity of the situation and behaves way ahead of her age. Larry Vigil, an American crewman. Herb Sealer, Swiss crewman, to help the family sail in the Indian Ocean. So these are the main characters. 6 in number. Coming to the theme of the story We Are Not Afraid to Die speaks about the adventures of a family which is out on a voyage. This story is an encounter described by the author which he experienced while taking the voyage. You will witness a stream of unfortunate events that led to a disaster for this family living its dream of sailing. The story brings many emotions which helps you to understand the importance of bonding in a family, and you will see how each member of the family perseveres to survive this deadly situation. So it is at the core. The story is about the togetherness, the bonding in a family, how they were always standing for each other, supporting each other, and they cared for each other, loving each other, and they were always courageous. Why? Because they had each other always together. So this is about the story, and we will get started with the text, but I will end today's session. It's a very small session, and I will end it with this particular small quotation that adventures are the best way to learn. So if you want to learn what life is, you have to take up adventure. And what's better, you just take your bags, pack up everything, and go and find out what's there to see in the world, and in that manner you will see what is inside you too. So with this, let's close it for now, and in the next session we will start off with a chapter.